Hi, this is Carrie Cooper for Guitar Centre's Focus on Rock. Now, when we think of the term boy band, we'd be forgiven for casting our minds to lineups created by talent managers, whose output is more often than not coupled with dubious choreography and a musical orientation somewhat focused on preteen females. But perhaps the most successful and iconic boy band of all time would be the Monkees. Unlike some of today's counterparts, the Monkees could actually play and write well, leading them at their height to outsell Elvis and the Beatles combined in the USA. So how did the world's first boy band come together to create a collective so successful, and what effect did that success have on the band and the young guys at the time? Inspired by the 1964 Beatles movie, A Hard Day's Night, the Raybert producers, made up of filmmaker Bob Ralphson and Bert Snyder, sold their pitch for the Monkees TV show to Screen Gems Television in April 1965. Both producers had a very clear idea of what they wanted from the cast and took out an advert on the 8th of September 1965 in both Daily Variety and The Hollywood Reporter, beckoning spirited Ben Franks types. Ben Franks was a popular Sunset Strip restaurant where the mods mused over burgers and fries, or as Davy Jones called them, long-haired beatnik weirdos. The advert said it was running parts for 4 insane boys aged 17 to 21, which they sure enough found in Mickey Dolenz, Peter Dork, Michael Nesmith, and of course the late Davy Jones, from 400 applicants or more. Notably, Stephen Stills auditioned but didn't make the cut, but suggested Peter Tork. The development of the musical side of the project accelerated quickly, but its content and creative direction was kept far away from the boys. The most notable songs came from Bobby Hart, the Monkees theme, Tommy Bryce, Last Train to Clarksville, Neil Diamond, I'm a Believer, and Carole King, Pleasant Valley Sunday. This separation from the main business of being a real band perhaps sowed a seed of discontent that would see the band turn on each other, resulting sometimes in actual physical blows. Now, the show gave the long-haired four a fast track to notoriety, with constant ongoing televisual visibility and an ever-growing manic fan base of largely young teenage girls. Their debut album, The Monkees, was released in October 1966 and would go on to sell 5 million copies and be one of 4 consecutive albums that would shoot straight to the #1 spot in the Billboard chart. The Monkees' debut would remain at that spot for 13 weeks, only to be knocked off by their own second album. Unable to work as a functioning band and their creative input limited by their management, frustration grew. The only one who seemed equipped to deal with this method of working was Davy Jones, perhaps due to his musical theatre experience and being more comfortable with taking orders. The problem was, they were also kids with their own taste in music and were happier performing songs that they really liked and/or wrote than songs that were handed to them. The boys knew it made for a better performance. It became an ongoing bone of contention that wasn't about to go away. The Monkees mania would prove a potent, if relatively short-lived period in a pop rock history, originally only being active for just 6 years. So why, at the height of it all, did they burn out so very quickly? Well, perhaps Michael Nesmith puts it best. He told Rolling Stone magazine, "That is a long discussion, and I can only offer one perspective of a complex pattern of events. The most I care to generalize at this point is to say there was a type of sibling suppression that was taking place unseen. The older sibling followed the Beatles and the Stones and the sophistication of a burgeoning New World Order. The younger siblings were still playing on the floor, watching television. The older siblings sang and danced and shouted and pointed to a direction they assumed the Monkees were not part of, and pushed the younger sibling into silence. The Monkees went into that closet." This is all retrospect, of course, important to focus on the premise that no one thought the Monkees up. The Monkees happened, and the effect of a cause still unseen, and dare I say it, still at work and still overlooked as it applies to present day. Well, this summer marked the 50th anniversary of the TV series and the release of Last Train to Clarksville, which they celebrated with the release of new album Good Times, and are currently in the throes of an extensive US tour. This is Carrie Cooper for Guitar Centre's Focus on Rock. Shop for the greatest selection of music gear on earth in store or at guitarcentre.com. monkees.com.